Hello, I'm Cindy Russell and this is Spotlight on Service for July 16th, 2024. I'm here with Darlene Janssen, who most of you may know is the manager and runs our lovely new Souris Hotel. It's been here 7 years now, and the Murray Building, of course. And we are celebrating, she has just won a Legacy Award for 56 years in the accommodations industry. Congratulations. That's huge. That's a huge feat.
Thank you.
Before we kind of get into what you do, let's talk about who you are. Where were you born and raised?
Well, actually, I came from Swan River, Manitoba.
Oh, wow.
Yep, right up north, about 20 miles north of Swan River. I think it was north, maybe it was west. I have 13 brothers and sisters, 7 brothers, 7 sisters. My father farmed, and the school we went to had 3 families.
Oh, wow. And yours would have been half or 3/4?
At least half. Yeah.
So where are you in the sisters and brothers?
I've got one older sister.
And then you.
And then myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you're not working and doing all this stuff in hotels, what do you do? What are your hobbies?
My second love of hotels is farming. We farm just west of Brandon, 14 kilometers west of Brandon, and we grow hay and we have animals and do the farming thing.
Wow. So what kind of animals do you have?
Well, I call it my zoo. I've got a couple of turkeys, Henry, Etta, and Herman. I've got one goose named Rita. I've got a donkey named Sower, and I've got 3 large draft horse called Leishan, and 2 little ones, Lily and Felix. We've got cows. We also run a cow-calf operation.
Wow.
And chickens.
Wow.
And dogs and cats and all of that thing.
So you're busy.
I'm busy.
No matter where you are, you're busy.
I've been known to be a bit of a workaholic.
But I think you like that though.
I love it.
Yes, you do.
I love it.
So you've just won this MHA award for 56 years in accommodations. That's a love. That's a true love of doing something. Can you tell me just what got you started in it?
Well, kind of what got me started, I was a very young mom, 17, 18 years old, and unfortunately the relationship didn't work, and I had 2 small children. And in that day and age, there was no soup kitchens or any supports like there are today, and it was work or die.
Right. Yeah.
And so for my children and I had to find jobs, and I had been working at a place called the Bel Air Restaurant in downtown Brandon, and it was a cafeteria. And I had met this girl who said, her name was Kathy, and she said, you can make lots of tips when you're working in a bar. And I said, okay, I could do that. I was very shy at the time, but Kathy was a well-seasoned beverage waitress, and she got me the job. In I go. I was so shy, and I still remember to this day, I think I cried so much the first month, and her words were always, "Suck it up, Buttercup, get back to work." And that kind of kept me going and motivated me. And then from the Beau Beer, then I went to I heard there was a new Red Oak Inn being built, a CP Hotel. And I thought, oh, sounds like a really great place that, it's big and it's new. I'm going to apply for a job there. So I applied as a beverage waitress, and there was no beverage waitress right at the beginning, but I got the experience of putting furniture together, housekeeping, cleaning glass, and everything else. Finally, my job came of a beverage waitress. So that's how I kind of started getting into the hotels.
Mm-hmm. So then, started there. Did you ever go to cleaning rooms? Have you done kind of all the different aspects of hotels?
I have done everything. In fact, at the Royal Oak Inn, I was mainly working in beverage, and then my children became school age, and I'm thinking, I won't see them if I'm working evenings, so I have to find a day job. And it was really quite funny because Dennis Dimitrioff was his name. He was the accountant at that time. And he'd known me for the 4 years that I'd been working as a beverage waitress, so he knew my credibility and everything. And I said, can I apply for the job? And he says, well, have you got any accounting experience? And I said, I do. And he said, what about typing? Because in that day and age, there was no cell phones, there was no computers, everything was handwritten. And a typewriter. And I said, yeah, I can type. And he said, good, we'll get you started. You'll have 2 weeks of training with this girl that was currently doing it. My very first day to start, she quits. I was mortified.
Oh gosh.
And I'm thinking, oh Lord, how am I going to get this done? So I used to go in the evenings and look at all the books and figure everything out on my own for quite some time. And then one day Dennis comes to me and he sees me trying to do the book work and he says, I'm almost afraid to ask these questions, but he said, where did you get your accounting experience? And I said, I pay all my own bills and I budget wisely. And he goes, okay, what about the typing? Because I was doing one finger. I said, you never asked me how fast, but I'll get it done. And I ended up staying there for 4 years in accounting. Then at that time, my children were now a little bit older, and I had met my current husband, Willie, and the beverage manager position came open, and I had a love of beverage. And because I had learned so much about it, and I really wanted to go back into that. So I applied for it, and I got it, and I was in charge of about 186 seat beverage room, a lounge. Started the first beer garden in Brandon. We used to have something.
Those are popular now.
Had something called Loose Ladies Nights on Wednesday nights, which all the old people my age will remember. And I ended up staying there for quite some time too. I think till about 1980, I think it was. Yeah, I was there from 1980 until 1989.
Wow. So that was your first management
Yes.
position?
Yes, and the first time I'd really started falling in love with the hotel industry and what it entailed. But during that time, when you asked if I'd done other things, you know, if they were short in housekeeping, it was like, go clean some rooms.
Yeah.
One time I had to look after the pool, and I can't swim, so I wouldn't let anybody in the pool for that whole shift. But
That's probably a good idea, but you did your job, right?
I did my job,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, I worked in a number of different departments and really, really learned a lot.
That's awesome. So then you started, that was your first management position. So then how many management positions have you had in these 56 years?
I would say 3 to 4 that I've been at throughout the whole term.
And so where, tell me about all the different places.
So
and
I'm just gotta check my notes here.
Okay.
I went into, in 1980, I became the beverage manager, and then in 1989, I heard that there was a new limited service hotel coming up, the Comfort Inn, or the Journey's End as it used to be called. And that kind of intrigued me, and I'm thinking, oh, this doesn't have any beverage areas or coffee shop, it's just strictly hotel. So I applied for that job, had a great interview, but wouldn't you know it, the front office manager from the Royal Oak Inn or the Red Oak Inn applied for the job, and she gets the job.
Oh.
I'm just broken. So anyway, the day she's supposed to go for a month's training in Winnipeg at the Comfort Inn, she calls in and says, I've had a change of plans. And then she phones me and says, you better apply because I'm not going to take the job.
Oh.
So I phoned him, Steve Hartley was his name. I phoned him and said, hey, I'd like to take that job because I hear Debbie's not going to be taking it. And he says, well, you've got so much hotel experience, but you have no front desk experience whatsoever. So that's what this is about. It's really about a front desk. And I said, well, how long is the training? And he said, it will be 1 month. I said, I'll make you an offer. I will do it for free. And in that month, if I haven't got it, I walk away, you haven't lost a cent, and all I've lost is my time. And he said, can you come tomorrow? I said, absolutely. So I got paid for the month, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's how I really started falling in love with that limited service, where it's just more rooms and front desk and that kind of thing. Then from there, so I was there for a couple of years, and then that was from 1987 to 1989 as a manager of the Journey's End. And then they offered me a promotion as a regional director, or regional operations for Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And then from there I went to regional operations director of 35 hotels for Choice Hotels, from Chilliwack, BC to all of Northern Ontario, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo. That was my territory. And
So lots of traveling then for that?
lots of traveling. I remember so well. It would come home, throw my clothes out of the suitcase, put fresh clothes in, throw the old files out, get new files in, and away I'd go. And once in a while, my husband would meet me in Saskatoon for a little, hi, I'm your wife, hi, I'm your husband. But it was all really good. It was a great experience and a great learning experience for me, and a great challenge for me.
It would have met so many people, like
Yes.
all over the place.
At the Comfort Inn, I was saying earlier that, you know, some of the things I'm most proud of is that I actually trained the first mother-daughter management team of the entire chain. They'd never had that before. And they're from Brandon, Noreen Templeton and Tanya, her daughter Tanya. And I also mentored and trained 9 managers. And these girls all started off in housekeeping. And as I was saying earlier, sometimes we get caught up in this, you know, this is where you are, this is where you stay. And I didn't see that in these girls. You know, they had some great ideas, they had great potential, and I loved the challenge of mentoring them to get them, and some of them are still managing today.
Well, and so are you.
Yes. Yeah. So, so then there was a lot of time on the road. So at that time, I was starting to feel, you know, maybe grandchildren were coming, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm never going to see these little monkeys. So I need to come off the road. And the manager's position came open again in Brandon. So I said, I'd like to apply and come back to being a manager. So I stayed there until August of 2015, managing the hotel at the Comfort Inn. And I was going to retire, and that lasted about 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, you know, the farm life and the people just make a really good fit for me.
Yeah.
I love my peace and quiet and my animals and the farm, but I also love the people and the challenges of the hotel. And it just really balances me in a great way. So after 2 weeks, I'm going, And my husband is quite happy when I come to work because I have been known to be a bit of a workaholic. And so he was quite happy that I was thinking seriously about going back to work. So at that time, a mutual friend approached me about the Best Western. Canalta Hotels had just bought the Best Western. So he approached me and said, you know, what about a new challenge, Darlene? And I'm going, Best Western. Ooh, that sounds interesting. And Canalta, whole new chain. And they were a young chain. They only had about, I think, 17 hotels at the time. So went and had an interview and got the job. And wouldn't you know it, the day I get there, the manager leaves.
Oh.
And I'm looking, saying, I don't know how to answer the phone. I don't know how the PMS system works. But again, you know, I always say, I am what I am today because of the people around me. The staff at the Best Western, you know, at first they were kind of like, who are you? But it was a job where I got hugs every single day. It was like, and they taught me, they mentored me, and I in turn taught them some stuff. And so that was a really great opportunity too. I think I have some good memories about that one too. So I gave them a 2-year commitment and said I will stay for 2 years and only 2 years. Eventually I got promoted to come in the role as well as regional sales manager for Manitoba. And I'd given them a 2-year commitment. So at that 2 years I said, I think I'm going to retire. I think it's getting to be time. And then along came Trevor from Steel Creek. He stops in the Best Western and he says to me, we have a building we're putting together in Souris, and the same architect designed both of these, and would you be willing to take me on a tour and show me what's really good about it and what could use improvement? I said, yeah, absolutely. So afterwards we're having coffee and Trevor says, you know, Darlene, it's going to be a hotel, a small hotel in a seniors complex. We need a manager, and I think we found one. And I said, did somebody tell you I was retiring in a week? So went home and talked to my husband, and he's going, take it, get out of my hair, take it. So again, I had the interview with Doug Murray and Joe Goodwill, 2 of the owners here, and I gave them a commitment of 2 years. That was in 2017. And so while we were putting the building together right from the ground up, and another great, beautiful challenge because I'd always been in chain hotels, and this gave me the opportunity to everything that I had learned to put it together in a way that I thought would be really, really good for guests. I wanted the friendliness. I wanted to home away from home. I wanted to be able to have any one of us, my staff included, to make that difference with people. And it has been beautiful. We have so many compliments from our guests, and you know, my staff here are just the best. They treat everybody respectfully, with kindness, go out of their way, do everything that they can possibly do. So, November 2017, I started from my home and answering the phone, Surus Hotel, Darlene speaking, how may I help you? And frantically writing everything down for reservations because we had no system yet. And while we were researching all of that, so we mentioned, here I am today.
There you are. And now we're at 56 years.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. So throughout all your years, do you have like just moments or like stories or something that is just always, you've always taken with you, like of customers or staff?
You know, I had one customer when we first opened here that actually has been stuck with me for 7 years. This lady and her husband came in, and they weren't even staying here, believe it or not. They just came in, and of course I had known Souris, but not intimately like I do now. But I knew there was a Souris River, and this lady come in and she says, we travel canoe in lakes and streams all across Canada. What do you know about the Souris River? And I'm going, well, it's a pretty wide river. And she said, do you know where we could drop our canoe and canoe to the bridge? And she says, and would it be okay if we leave our bicycle here and we'll leave our vehicle down there? And she said, we're not staying here. And I said, you know what? Absolutely. We'll put it in the parkade. And she says, now where would we put our canoes down? And I said, ugh. You know what? I'm going to phone Forbes Arbuckle because Forbes is he's my go-to fellow, Forbes and Detlef. So I phoned Forbes and I said, Forbes, here's the situation. I've got this lady. She wants to canoe. Where? He's saying, oh, go 5 miles out of town, turn left, go through the farmer's field. He won't care. Get into the river. And I went, oh, I don't know if I'm going to remember that. So he immediately comes up here on a napkin. He's drawn the map. So I give it to her and I said, her name's Dana. I said, Dana, I don't know if this will work, but give it a try. They went, they come back. She couldn't say enough things about how beautiful this river was. They found it with the napkin directions so easy. And the next thing I know, it's on Facebook. The napkin with the hand-drawn map. And to this day, we're still friends on Facebook. And she still often speaks great volumes about Souris and their trip here. And they travel all over Canada.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah. What was the other one I was thinking about? Can't think of the other one right now off the top of my head.
Any other like interesting people or that have come even in like not even just here but in your
Princess Margaret. We served Princess Margaret at the Royal Inn. That was really quite the thing. You know, going through from ripping a room apart and putting all new stuff in there to the banquet facilities. That was amazing. We used to have Simmental cattle sales at the Royal Inn. I was involved in the beverage. And the first time they said, well, we're going to put a giant bull, a live bull, in the middle of the room with all the tables around. We're going, ooh, this could be dangerous.
right in the building.
Right in the banquet room. And it was called Bar 5. They brought that bull in and he was just as calm as a cucumber. And everybody around him was having their steaks.
Oh my gosh.
Charlie
That's
Pry
hilarious.
had a great conversation. That man impressed me. I remember we got talking while he was doing a performance in Brandon, and he would talk to you for about 5 minutes, and he'd know exactly what your horoscope was, and he never got anybody wrong. It was crazy.
That's super crazy. That I'd be interested to find someone like that around here again, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else? Oh, big question for you.
Okay.
You kept kind of throwing this word out every now and then. retiring. Is that coming? I know it's been coming for years and not happening, but.
Well, you know, I truly do love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I truly love it. You know, I wake up every morning and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder what our little hotel is doing and what's happening in the world. And it, as I said earlier, it just keeps me balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I gave the interview for the job, one of the commitments that I did give was that I would have a succession plan in place, because all of the owners have never worked in the hotel industry. And so that was really, really important to me. And, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm thinking, you know, I'm seeing people who are having health issues and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, I mean, I feel like I could go on forever, but we all know that's not the case. So last July, I guess, I started thinking about it a lot and thought, you know, I have to honor that. This group of shareholders have been nothing short of amazing in supporting me, believing in me, allowing me to put my touch on to how I felt it should go. And I could never walk away and without making sure that it was still going on that same path. So I said, you know what, I will retire because it's time. I have to train somebody. And Terry, I gave her her first job when she was 14 years old. And 49, we've kept contact over the years. We've worked together on different boards and stuff. And she lives at Carroll, which is only a few minutes away. And she was looking to kind of settle down a little bit too. So, and she's got a lot of related skills, albeit she worked in the banquets, but she doesn't, not necessarily in a hotel, but she's got a lot of related skills, great guest skills.
I actually worked for her at McDonald's
years
and
there
years
you
ago.
go. Yeah, she's got some amazing skills and has on her career path has picked up a lot of similar things that you need in this kind of an operation. So we talked and she decided to give it a try. So then I was going to retire June 30th. And then, you know, we had a little discussion with Forbes and Detlef, and we talked about, you know, the problem is in a chain you have the support of a head office. Here you don't have any supports. So to carry it forward and to grow and to learn and to be able to adapt to everything and have a good understanding of the hotel industry, there really wasn't going to be any supports for her. So and my husband's shaking his head, yes, do it. So I agreed to stay on a couple of days a week as an operations support manager to try to mentor Terry and help Terry along. And if she goes on holidays, I'm here. If she gets sick, I'm here. If she decided to retire, you know, there's still somebody who knows a little bit about it. So eventually, maybe she might take on the role that I'm in now. So I think it's a great fit because I still love working. I still really want to work. I like working.
This has given you kind of the best of both worlds. Then
Absolutely.
You get to slow down a little bit, which you probably won't when you're home anyways, but
Yeah.
gives you kind of that stepping stone from not having to do it cold turkey, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So before we end, I would like to know what has been the most rewarding for you.
Well,
56
you know,
years.
I thought long and hard about that, and it comes down to the people. Absolutely the people. I think it's my guests that I've had over the years and the staff. And evidence of that today in this award ceremony, I mean, it was so touching and so overwhelming that I had people from every place that I've worked, and I can't say enough
That's
about
the
it.
reward, right?
Yeah, that was the reward. I think I was trying to figure out how I could describe this, and it's like meeting visitors from every piece of the world, towns. You know, every day you get new visitors, and they have new stories to share. And so I'm not traveling. I don't have to travel.
No.
I can be stationary here, and I hear those stories. And the other thing is, I've been known to be a fixer, and I love trying to find out little things about them, you know, if it was their birthday, of getting them some little thing, if it's their anniversary, if it's a biker coming in, giving them a little pail with a sponge and a shampoo to clean his bike. We put little rubber duckies in our rooms, and because I like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this older gentleman come by, and he's holding the duck, he comes to the front desk very sternly and says, "What is this doing in my room?" I said, well, it's to give you a smile. He goes, oh, I love it. Can I take the duck home? I said, absolutely. You can. So it's, you know, I've met new people from new places, have loved hearing their stories, and being a part of their celebrations, whether it's an anniversary, a funeral. I mean, it's sad. There's sad times too. Groups, and just playing a really small part in celebrating what's special for them. That, you know, that just makes you feel good.
It does, yeah.
It makes you feel so good. My teams, I think Cindy down in our speech said, I've been known to be a mother hen to them, and honestly, that's what I love doing too, is mentoring them, teaching them, and watching them just become really successful individuals. It feels good. It feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to watch them grow and just develop
Watch them grow and develop.
skills that they maybe didn't
Yeah.
think they had, and now they do.
Yeah,
And
I had a young lady, she was living in Saskatoon, working on the front desk, and we just opened the Chilliwack Hotel. This happened just a couple of years ago. I mean, a long time ago, but a couple of years ago I heard from her. Her name was Cindy. And she wanted to grow up in the industry, and I said to her, you know, why don't you move to Chilliwack? You know the manager that's going in there, and maybe you start on the front desk, and maybe you could get promoted. You work hard. So Cindy took the plunge, and away she went. I got a letter from her. She saw me on Facebook, and she said, are you the same Darlene that used to work for Choice Hotels? And I said, yes, I am. And she goes, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. She said, you know, if you remember, I took the plunge, I went to Chilliwack. Well, she says, I've been managing the Holiday Inn in Calgary, I think she'd said for like 27 years. And she said, you know, I didn't believe in myself at the time, but you pushed me. And I had the same thing when I was young, right? I had the same people pushing me and moving me forward. So, yeah, it's a good feeling.
I bet. Well, thank you so much. And like, congratulations.
Thank you.
This is amazing, 56 years. And still more years to come, clearly.
Yes.
But yeah, you do good in this hotel, and we hear great things about it around the community all the time. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I've been sitting here with Darlene Janssen, who has won the Legacy Award for 56 years in the accommodations industry. My name is Cindy Russell. This is Spotlight on Souris for July 16th, 2024. Thank you.